Hello, good evening, or depending where you're around the world, good afternoon, good late hours of the evening. Blessings for stopping this way. Thank you, and thank you for you. May this, as this video is intended to bless you. And first of all, I pray haze of blessings, hearts of blessings to the one creator, Qemam Ua Nefer, the one creator only, holy. Haze of thank yous to you, haze of praises to you, and haze of blessings to you. Almighty Qemam Ndali Ote Tuta. You are very great. Humans a little. And now, dear peoples of creation, just a word of quick recap, recuerdo, admonition to humans. We are not perfect. Mercifully, obviously the Creator is, and whatever we're doing, we have to ensure that the central thought, the central aim is holy. In whichever language you say holy, Nefer, Mukadas, Kadosh, Sanctus, Heilig, Heiliger, Holy, Kel, Ohinkwele, Mimo, Zaki, and so Iotake, Sanctaida da. Wales. Whatever language you're using, Sanctité for in France, Hemolele, Hawaii, Tabu, Kialo O, and the nations of Australasia. Holy, it does matter. There's holy and there's the opposite of holy. And where humans get confused and lost a lot of the time is that what is holy is not always as people have been taught. It's not always, sometimes it's greater, it's broader in the holy sense of the word. It's a tent that encompasses more than many people have been taught, but holy is holy. And how you tell is prayer to the Creator, and also double checking divinare with the holy pool, with the truth pool, in which, or whichever genuine method of divination that you are called to or prefer. So it is very necessary, because as we all know, some people, a group of people, even one person can mention holy and righteousness and goodness and being prejudiced. They can mean horrible things. They can actually mean the opposite of what they're saying, whether they mean to or they just are repeating because they don't know enough. They've been taught certain things. You know, a black person cannot possibly be holy, or white people are evil, or the person may have been taught like it, and it may seem so to them. But we have to check. We can't continue as humanity to just fall for. So many of you, so many people in the world have become a bit numb, careless as to whether an idea, a plan, a plot is holy or the opposite of. And we need to get out of that lazy habit. Lots of words now scare people. Moral, pure, good, righteous, holy. They've been sort of had the heart taken out, and a lot of original meaning taken out, and have become a bit like little, not narrow in the holy sense, just little, far too little. And it causes rebellion, because people know in their spirits, because the Holy Spirit talks to everyone. And so in an effort to get humanity into a place where holy doesn't seem like evil, because there's not enough teaching, good, holy teaching. But often we know in our hearts, being cruel to someone in order to hide your wrongdoing because you don't want to be honorable about it is wrong. But people are playing games with people about that. Being ancient religion somehow is Norse religion, somehow it's Ubungomo in England in the past, it's the old religion somehow, and it's not. It's just the opposite of holy. It's unjust, it's svet, it's not good, and no amount of cleverness can alter that. Unjust is unjust. So what our hearts need to want to be pleasing the Creator. We need holiness in the center of ourselves, our focus. It needs to be double checking constantly. Is what we are following genuinely holy? We may have thought it was 10, 20 years ago or 5 years ago, but is it? Was it ever? We need to care, because so many people are dying and have died because people don't care for the difference. So in tiredness, would put a holy sign in yourself, cross yourself. There are other signs. Maybe you wear a Star of David, maybe you wear a sign, a sigil of the Creator Feminina, or of the Netta, or the angels that serve the Creator and belong to the Creator. Use them, use their names. If you're too tired to think things through, that's not an excuse for, okay, slaughter her then. Okay, be evil to him then, because you're too tired to think it through. And okay, everybody gets tired, you maybe, but then you rest in holiness. You don't therefore give in to the wrongdoing of the crowd because you're tired. Then you just created injustice and you'll be more tired, but it comes back to you. Holiness, what we give out, comes back to us. So give out holiness. If you're not sure of what to do, at least don't join in the cruelty, the so-called just punishment because they got something wrong, and maybe the story is nowhere near as straightforward as it seems, and maybe the person's not guilty. And it's just evil, vicious rumor or confused rumor. Don't make yourselves guilty or guiltier by being careless as to the difference between Nefer versus Bie, evil, between Ma'at versus Svet, the evil kind of chaos that comes from people choosing evil. It's the Easter week. I want to be more upbeat, but let's face it, the reason there is an Easter week is because of human sinfulness. It's our redemption at the cost of the Creator, at the cost of the Son of God, who is God. Before people argue and say, well, they don't believe in the Bible and they want to fill Eostre, and cool, holy, as long as you're not in opposition. Their opposition to the Son of God in favor of the daughter of God, they're both Godhead. The Creator Mother and the Creator Father, and the Creator, the daughter of God, and the Creator, the Son of God, and the Creator, the Spirit of the Godhead, they're all Godhead. And they've all, when they've incarnated into this world, they've all been ill-treated by humanity to greater and lesser, unspeakable extent sometimes. So that's all part of Eostre. They're part of a holy whole. They are not in opposition to each other. That's a matter of prophecy and performer, and people arguing about performer and the prophecy and how it was all supposed to work out 2,000 years ago and in between. But the Godhead, we have to remember that they're one. And to get to a good understanding of the various traditions is Kriniso, legitimately, holily, certainly of the one Creator. That is religion. That's actually what religion means. People making a monstrosity of the word of the Creator in whichever religious tradition they may be following, that's a matter of human sinfulness. It's honestly, it's not really, it's not it's not the Bible, it's not the Son of God. The daughter of God is not in some evil opposition to her brother. They're all Godhead, they're all the Creator. And I just an admonition, aim at holy. Be open to the possibility that there's something that you may have understood because you're angry with humans, and you may be very right in this world, depending on the subject, to be angry with that group of humans. Whether it's racism or deciding that no one's going to be honorable to that region or the other region of your country, or arguments over borders that have led to deaths, and or wells, because wells are part of land and land is a part of a property matter. So it's not it's understandable if there are ancient disputes, but we need to be wanting to resolve them as much as is humanly possible, and that takes a heart that wants the Creator's sway to win. That means some blessed humility that we need to pray for, because humans get lost in pride, don't we? And we're all prone to it from time to time, and then we have to bring ourselves, pray usually for that blessed humility, because it's not always easily come by, especially if we're hurt, especially if we're threatened, or people we love and care about are hurting, threatened, or in grief, or being killed. It can be very hard, but we have to aim for holiness. When it's not coming, we pray for it. When we see other people are not making it, in being willing to listen to sound arguments, to appeals for genuine peace, not a peace where you make sure that you win no matter the lack of merit of your argument when you're honest and things like that. No, genuine, real. The central, most important aspect of our lives is holiness. We have to stay in holiness in our center as much as is humanly possible. It has to be our aim. Of course, we pray for it to help us with it throughout the day, and throughout the evening, so that we have the best life possible, so that there's less injustice, not more. It's disputes. Remember, everything from the Creator is pyramid. Everything. We're pyramids within a pyramid that is within pyramids that is within the pyramid of life. And that's the Creator's way. That's how life creation has been set. So the pyramids, also called sand dunes in Kialo Tutisi, Mboku, Mizraim, Mazra, Misra, Egypt, the Nile Valley. Yes, Isavivani are also pyramids. And the reigning long performer is being fought by many a politician, many a member of government who doesn't sit in a cabinet but influential all the same. We need to learn what long performer means if we don't know. Iswe Ulelo is long performer, or rather long performer is Iswe Ulelo. All languages come from Kialo, or Guvamon originally, as the same as people, comes from Kialo. The patterns of Guvamon come from Kialo Tutisi, from the Nile Valley. And the reigning long performer is as the original. 95 original kingdoms need to be aimed at. At the moment, people feel free to just aim for whatever they feel like, whatever their groups told them, oh, that's appealing, this is appealing. But no, we have to find out what the reigning long performer is and how it applies to our people, to our nations, to the continents, the groups of kingdoms. because we're not supposed to just do whatever we feel like. Take a long performer from 3,000 years ago and say, I want that. Oh, you might do, but as the creator. And no, actually, is the answer. There's a leeway left for when there are just difficulties because of people sending evil to one another, and then that has to be coped with. Maybe they've caught the sway the minds of lots of people, so then that has to be coped with. But the aim is to recreate the world as it was originally in terms of those 95. So that was it. 95 original kingdoms of this earth. And so Russia, it shouldn't be that people are threatened out of saying that Russia is right about Ukraine. It shouldn't be. This is supposed to be the free world, and the subject is a matter of pro forma, long pro forma from the one creator. And as I said, many people have not been taught much about it, so to them, as a politician in a cabinet or a party, a junior minister or something, it can sound like just fanciful nonsense. They don't even pray that much, so why should they bother? But that's precisely why you need to find out, because to fight long pro forma is to fight the creator. What happens then? Injustice, illness, more poverty, more injustice, more death, more grieving. And if people are still not learning the lesson, they need to aim at holiness on the inside of themselves and encourage it in their families. You just get more of that. And it is not it's not a small subject. The subject of why, first there's divining why Russia sent the tanks into Ukraine last February 2022. Was it for nothing? Why would they risk? Things were going fairly well. Why would they have risked anger from the rest of Europe and America and Canada and Australia for nothing? Just for pride? They were doing well. Why would they do that? To overcome this silly belief that it's somehow just being Russian to fight everybody. No. Divinare why, and then divinare what the best answer is, and then focus on that. Personal opinions. It doesn't matter if you don't like vodka. It doesn't matter if you don't like Moscow when you visited. It doesn't matter if some Russians are prejudiced. It doesn't matter if somebody else suffered injustice there. It's not that their suffering didn't matter if it was not, not right, not karma because they did something, but it's people are putting their personal opinions before the creator. Now that takes prayer and humility, because sometimes things are just not as they seem. And all this death, all this grief, the fighting, the dispersals of persons, divinare why it happened, and then divinare the best answer. That's what you pray for. Prayer is a divination. What does the divine, the creator, think? That's what divination is. Asking the angels, the netta, the gods for help. They serve the creator. If you're uncomfortable asking even angels, then just focus on asking the creator. But do so. Never mind sticking to your we've always been against Russia. Was that ever fair? Was that ever right? Was that ever holy to just be against a nation? The Russian president says something and automatically you're against because it's a Russian president saying it. Overcome. How much injustice did that lead to? And the history of Russia has not even been properly taught. Joseph Stalin is a Romanov, and he knew it. And when he said it, he wasn't saying it just to aggrandize himself because he wants to everybody to think of him as a great guy, which would not altogether unreasonable. But he was the Tsar, and the Romanovs themselves. There's a long story as to. You sure they all passed away all at once in 1917? Remember all those, especially the older people amongst the audience watching this video or listening to it. There were rumors, weren't there, and certainties that no, they hadn't all been killed all at once. Trying to understand 20th century Russia takes an open mind, it takes prayer, it takes divination, parla, shlola, explore, delve, plumb, what it takes divinare. And I'm saying it like this because it is the Easter weekend, and the reason that Easter, Good Friday, happened was actually a day of great tragedy. It's just that within that tragedy came salvation for sinful humanity, us, you know, and but it was won at a horrible price, and to just continue with this wayward spirit that's around a lot of it doesn't even matter what long performer is. Who cares what the world originally looked like? It matters everything because it matters to the creator, and the creator's not wrong about anything. So this is the best thing. We aim at holiness on the inside of ourselves, and that involves the blessed humility of opening our minds to the creator, just in case the surprising thing, the shocking thing that someone says is actually the truth thing, the right thing. And what seems true and right, and everybody rushes off to follow it, isn't always, is it? People can say the same words and mean different things. They can say freedom, that Russia's taking away freedom from her people, and then for me to give this message, I know I'm risking, because these days there's not that much freedom here in the West, in England, because apparently it's not okay to flesh this subject out and to discuss genuinely what is the best thing for everyone, considering Ukraine is actually Russia's South dukedoms. Here it would be Devon, Dorset, Suffolk, Kent, Somerset, even Oxfordshire, Gloucestershire. That's the equivalent in this country, in Russia, that those dukedoms are, they have some temporary independence, but it's not as sovereign as in an always and a must be as people think, because they've not been taught enough about long performer. So much as I care about a lot of people in the cabinet and in the government here, I do know that because this subject of Iswe Ulelo, long performer, has not been taught clearly enough, strongly enough, and accurately enough, there's a lot of, does it really matter? And that's just leading to more people dying. The subject of Northern Ireland, it also comes within what is the reigning long performer. How can you tell who is native Northern Ireland? You go for the national insurance number. SUE, SUA to SUZ, original capital city people, NUAE, NUAA to NUAZ, North Dukedom people of Ula, Northern Ireland, and WUAE, WUAA to WUAZ. Those people, you are native Northern Ireland, if those are your national insurance number, and nobody else. Maybe some of you are living there because your grandparent was native Northern Ireland and your mum is, but you are not. But it's good to know. I'm not saying everybody has to leave or something. That would be a bit heartless. It's not that, but it's good for people to know who's who. It's not about which church you belong to or which side of a road you belong to. It's your national insurance number tells you your paternal blood. That is who you are. And it's our paternal, according to the creator feminina and the creator masculina, that's how we tell who we belong to, who we are. Okay, so divinare it if you don't believe me. Instead of just leaving people to go to war when they didn't need to, or to continue fighting when the best thing is to just stop. And are you sure that the people who are saying, yeah, Ukraine has to keep going until the end, are they getting money out of it? Is their personal pride with your homes? So, although it may seem to some as if I don't care about Ukraine, it's not so. I'm pro forma Russia. I'm pro forma to the said Tsar generation of Russia. Alexei, I have Russian children, therefore, throughout, speckled across the whole of Russia, Russia, and different regions, original capital, north, south, including in Ukraine. I don't want them to suffer. I've been doing a lot through Rin, through prayer, through the power of using holy through Rin to try and move as many of my own to areas where there's less fighting, or to places where at least where as many as possible can be sheltered. And I'm not the only one who's been doing that, who's got children, pro forma children, born according to own in Russia and in other areas of the world too, where there are disputes, fighting, terrible things. I know sometimes the fight is the just thing to do because of the disputes. I'm not saying all fighting is wrong at all. And I have Ukraine persons fighting with Moscow because they can see what the problem is. Don't give way to weird old versions of pro forma and history. Find out the real thing. Pray. If this sounds like, well, you haven't got a clue how to do a divinare and you don't trust anybody around you or near you and never did, you can still pray and keep your heart open to original Russia, especially if you are Russian, and the rest of Europe. Karma. What do you want your South dukedoms, boroughs, shires, counties, whatever you're naming them in your languages, to do the same for? Because you wouldn't push for peace and unity in Russia, which is the whole of original Russia. You're pushing for something that can have a horrible impact where we all are in time. And we are personal responsibilities hats on. That flexibility that says, do we need to shift ourselves much more than we've been thinking we need to? Yes, you do. It is Easter, a time for caring, a time for conscience, a time for prayer, a time for gratitude that someone, obviously I'm not the creator, but the creator came to teach, to heal, to help, and we all treated them. Which is why sometimes when people put their heads above ground and say necessary things, get shot down. We're not perfect like the creator, but we try and get shot down. But let this be the free West as much as is possible. Free Europe, free North America, Canada, Canada, and free everywhere as much as possible. When people choose BA to hide their personal secrets, in the end, to save lives, all sorts of good things get their funding withdrawn and more problems accrue around you. Hide your secrets in holy and make sure, I'm serious, in true goodness, in holiness. I know none of us are perfect, but that's no excuse for not trying. It's no excuse for choosing total evil to some evil death cult that says, right, we're going to wipe out everybody white, we're going to wipe out everybody black, we're going to wipe out everybody East Asian, South Asian, Middle Eastern, anyone Native American. That is just not right, and everybody knows it. So don't put your hopes and your fears there in BA, because that's what it produces. It's what it is, and it's what it causes. More and more illness, pandemic, silent pandemics. It's not good. It is not pleasant. So this is the weekend, a week rather, certainly next weekend. or in the Orthodox churches, if I know you're following slightly different calendars, but Easter. Easter, whether you're following Easter or Eostre, bless the Son of God. And I bless the daughter of God, the Son of God. They both suffered under the older Christianities of Ngoma, Kui, in the world. Gratitude to the Creator for caring enough to be gracious. Let's imitate the Creator who is love. Haze of blessings again to the one Creator. Haze of thank yous to the one Creator. And haze of praises to the only Almighty Creator. The Godhead is Oa, Moja, Nye rather, is one. And blessings, blessings, blessings to you for stopping this way. Prayers and blessings for your consciences. We all need prayer. Amen. Go care.